angle. I think that Homebois generally early to mid should be theirs.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Homebois have a pretty solid lineup, so SRG, if they want to make something happen, gotta make it happen quick. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the land of dawn. The very first game of MPL Malaysia Season 14 is about to commence. Homebois on the blue side versus the Selangor Red Giants on the red. Who will emerge victorious?
Match numero uno for this season. And one of the dynamics that I'm seeing right now is in that mid lane, right? Both mid laners don't really care too much if they can shove the wave. They're not exactly the fastest. Although I think the advantage does lie with Stormy a bit more because of the Nightmare respawn. But that extra leash that gives Sakai a bit of a head start. A lot of focus on getting the jungler, on the pace going.
Yeah, but they're also making sure that they have full control over that mid lane. That's why we see that Edith is parked right behind the Zosk pretty much for the first minute of this game. Whether or not they're going to rotate towards that top side of the map is going to be a completely different question, knowing that SRG can actually play through Cram.
Yeah, I think SRG, they know that most likely this early game nothing's gonna really happen until the first turtle. So having Yums here to kind of stand back the mid lane, hold the minions in place to make sure Stormy can farm safely is a better use of his time than attempting some sort of gank.
And that kind of blows for Udio because of the timing of Yum showing up. I think Udio actually lost a big chunk of the wave. And even Waf is forced to use that rejuvenate, that revitalize to heal himself back up. So resources are already being expended. Top side, Innocent has to flicker away. Aim out on the chase. Tempest of Blaze drop down. First blood going over to Homebois.
That's what you want to see from the Homebois, right? As soon as you hit a power spike, as soon as you hit level 4, you're looking for kills on Innocent to slow down his scaling. Udil, however, is taking so much punishment. He's already technically, based on what we're looking at the EXP, he's only missed 1 minion out of the 3 minions from that wave, so it's not that big of a deal. Waf, on the other hand, he's taking so much punishment from Cram.
Yeah, he's having some difficulty down here in the EXP lane, but I think Udil taking that damage is actually good. You saw that he was slowly taking the wave to push Stormy ahead, which meant that Yums actually had to hang around the mid lane to make sure that the Zas wasn't ganked, allowing Homebois to go for the gank in the gold lane instead.
SRG does get priority over the turtle, and just like that, they get the objective. While this time, not so lucky though, executed by Stormy. Yums will arrive at the scene knowing that this orange buff is being initiated on. Yums actually takes the Cyclone Knife forward, pops the ultimate, Tempest Ablaze, baited out from Amao. He wants to run away with Cram around. Homebois get him out.
Quite a lot of resources utilized there by the Red Giants, but Homebois were still able to secure the buff and get out without any casualties. So they're doing a very good job of damage control. Net worth leads slightly for the Red Giants, but Homebois doing a good job of keeping up.
Yeah, just a couple of minions, a couple of camps, not the biggest of deals. You're not losing major objectives, you're not losing big buffs, so they're not falling too far behind overall. When we compare the EXP in terms of levels, Cram, the fact that he's 1 level ahead of Waf, he's basically got this lane under control, and there's not much that Waf can really do about it other than sandbag.
I mean, Cram is willing to even use that ultimate, right? The Infernal Pursuit, just to get a bit of trade in. This sandbag is working out well for Homebois, and I'm expecting SRG to make more movements down bot to get that turret sooner or later.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup, right? As soon as level 4 hits, Waf, wait, hold on, Yums.
It's gonna be caught. Primal Wrap gets that extra shield. Damage is sufficient to take down Udil. Traded by Amao in the process. The guys 1v1.
Oh.
The Prince reigns supreme. Double kill for Sakai. And Mao now on the run. Sakai gets the energy back. Couple of dashes. Gets the flicker out from Mao.
He's still
Sakai still goes for the chase. It's a killing spree for the Nolan.
He can absolutely go for the chase. He's Nolan, baby. He's fast. He's fast as heck. And he also has a secondary gap closer in his passive, which makes his auto attacks allow him to leap at his targets to create a fracture. Now, looking at the buffs, both sides, it's going to be on the bottom side of the map. Turtle spawning on top in 13 seconds. They need to set this up well because Cram, he's got full control over this lane. He's probably going to proxy 1 more wave before he makes his way over to the turtle.
And this is actually really good as well. In fact, Red Giants can even choose to maybe ignore the EXP lane because as long as Waf is held in the lane, he cannot freely rotate and provide utility.
Yeah, even Cram's gonna use Flicker to get away. He was rooted by Udio. Glorious pathway. Cram now forced to fight. Healing up with that ultimate Infernal Pursuit. Not enough this time. Taken down by 4-man of Homebois.
He doesn't have the stats. He doesn't have the max HP to become really, really vicious just yet. Until he gets to that point, until we see him have that Clock of Destinies, it's going to take a bit of time before he can 1v4 like that.
And the commitment onto Soul. That's Purify out. I mean, Cram also has the Thunder Belt, right? So the stack is just going to get even deadlier as the game progresses.
Really nice rotations here. Red Giants realizing Homeboys committed a lot of resources to taking out Cram, able to focus their efforts onto the gold lane. Not able to get the kill, but forcing out a battle spell and a tower is going to be great for them. They've already built up a 2k net worth lead 5 minutes in.
I like the feints that we see from the side of SRG. I like the way that they're opening up this map. They're not necessarily taking the most efficient route, but they're purposefully covering majority of these bushes.
Oh, that's damage!
And it's gonna be the Stormy ultimate. Udo takes it, Waff just melted. Supposedly, the answer to this Zaz, but not this time around. Mao also forced away. Purple buff given over to Sukais once more. Homeboy's put in a pretty rough position. The fact that this Hylos has to join his team this early on.
Really good call coming in there from Stormy. Instantly jumped into the bush, got the laser on 3 people and melted so much HP right at the beginning. Basically making it impossible for Homeboys to try and respawn. Amal should get a tower for free at least, but that's quite a consolation.
Should be able to get away from this, right?
Oh.
SDL drop, easily dodged by Sukais. Backup coming in, Amal. Just the outplay, the mechanics from this man. Stormy should be there to clean it up. It's a trade, 1-for-1.
Not bad, not bad. Good stuff coming in from Amal there. He was taking way more autos than he probably should have against the guys, but he knows that he's got a little bit more burst at the end of the day, especially when he has his ult. Overall, SRG is still ahead in terms of the economy by 2,200 and 5 more seconds until we actually see the turtle spawn, which Homeboys, again, they are playing very standard-wise, right? Solana Red Giants are just making sure that when they rotate, they cover each one of these brushes to eliminate the possibilities of where Homeboys could be, and then eventually corralling them like sheep.
Udo will be caught. The Earth Shatter. It's a slow follow-up. Solana Red Giants slowly just funneling the resources. So Wild Charge also out for Mao. He did get the orange buff for Amao in this case, but map control over the SRG.
Yeah, this is very classic SRG. We've seen this time and time again. When they are ahead, they know how to control the map. They know how to manipulate enemy movements in a way that puts them vulnerable against their own forces. And now with the turtle up, they can just have Stormy deal with it alone, steal the purple buff. We are going to see the Red Giants very systematically remove resources across the map in the next few minutes.
Yeah, look at the decisions being made, right? They didn't even dedicate any resources to head over to the bottom side of the map, despite seeing both Amal and as well as Soul. They knew for a fact, unless Soul commits really, really hard to this T2, then we're definitely going to get a trade back on a gold laner, which is technically, to us, pretty fine. I think Homeboys at this point of time should never be contesting for these objectives. Let Amal split push, let Soul be the one where the majority of the Homeboys members need to kind of cover for.
Amal's going to show himself, but this is not the fight that he can win. I think at the same time, it's also, we haven't really seen Innocent be engaged in these full-blown team fights, right? Both gold laners have just been left on an island to farm up, get that arsenal going. But SRG clearly having a bit more of that map control.
Yeah, Innocent hasn't really been disrupted, but he did fall a little behind earlier because he got ganked, so his farm might not be as good as usual, but still, we know that he will end up being quite the late game threat due to that max HP damage. Oh, in the bottom lane! Oh!
Wait! Lethal Ignition!
The burn finished him off. We thought he got away for a moment on the minimap, but looks like he was not able to do so. I do like how confident Amal is, but he's got to pick his battles a little more carefully.
Bit of a revenge. Udo also has to retreat, keeps his Purify. Stormy, hit with the stun, follows up. Udo, are you not going to use it? Forces it out at the very end. SRG, just like that. One solo kill on the bot side, you negate a split push, and you get, again, control of the man. You wrestle it back for yourself.
Yeah, very patient coming in from Udil, from the Homeboys. But I think that SRG, they've got this game in the bag, right? Even Sakai's, he's waiting for Amal to just use that ult before he goes for the all-in, just to proc Lethal Ignition to get the extra bit of damage. In terms of items, though, we are seeing a full item ahead for those who at least have 500 or gold more.
It's honestly a huge lead right now for the Red Giants. Even if the numbers may not be as inflated as we're used to, they know what the Homeboys want to aim for. Usually when you have a Ling, you should be able to control the map somewhat, but Skies on the Nolan is somewhat able to match his pace, making split pushing difficult.
Even Yums as Stormy, the dynamic duo, is able to read Amal's movement, conceal from the side of Homeboys, while Cram instantly flickers, just to not get caught.
It's tough. It's tough playing Lunox into the Haroth matchup because so many things need to go right for you, right? You need to survive until level 4, and then even afterwards, your items are naturally, if you compare Haroth items to Lunox items 1-to-1, majority of the early game items are way cheaper. Oh, Cram is getting deep in there.
He's going to hold Waf back. Lord should go over the SRG. Innocent also almost taking out Udo in the process.
That was painful right there. If Innocent had Lethal Ignition, that may have actually been a kill.
Oh, how he wishes.
If he had Warcry.
If he had Warcry, it would have been a different story. But hey, now Selangor Red Giants looking to surge their economy even more. They already have a 5.6k gold lead. They're about to 2x it if they're able to break open inhibitors. Now, this is under a couple of conditions, right? Homeboys, if we're looking at them, they don't have a lot of wave clear. They have to dedicate a lot of people on one lane at a time rather than spread them out.
Yeah, when you have a lineup like this, you ideally want to be at least even in terms of farm with your opponent because you do have heroes with a late game potential that need items to remain somewhat relevant. I think Waf especially has been having a lot of difficulty since he already lost lane early on, making it so that he's not able to sandbag like the hero should.
Even the Flicker WoW charge, and once the guy's gone, it's a dash away and caught on by Amal. Great execution from the Homeboys.
Good stuff from Amal, but at the same time, their inhibitors are getting exposed here.
The glorious pathway, they want to clear out the Lord, should be able to do so now without Sakai's in the picture. The SRG will not be able to get any inhibitors off of the first Lord. Homeboys mounting a very solid defense.
I think all things considered, that's actually pretty good, and a very nice ambush as well from the Homeboys, taking advantage of the Red Giants' confidence to expand across the map, finding the wild charge, finding a kill on a very high value target. Unfortunately, they're gonna need to replicate that quite a few more times. Keeping all their inhibitors alive is great, but continued pushes are going to make defense more and more difficult. What does Homeboys need to do to maybe keep their feet in this game?
Well, I think that number one, it's got to be with Mal, right? It's got to be one hell of an ult, one hell of a 5-man knockup of some sort. It's difficult because they are struggling to get into the pit, right? If we're talking about the position of where this Lord pit is, most of the time the Homeboys just play by the river line, but they need to get a little bit deeper. They need to be able to have access to a clear line to get inside of the pit where
he was actually found Amal, but Udo, he is just instantly caught in the blink of an eye. You can see the idea from Homeboys. Ma was in a position that he could potentially go for a pincer, but SRG just pulled the trigger first.
Yeah, a two-prong attack as well. Yums used the conceal to actually walk past Udil to try and target Soul, leaving Udil to the rest of his team. And while they weren't able to get the second kill, it's still very effective.
It's going to be a push. Inhibitor guaranteed. Almost.
Almost.
Okay, not yet. It will be soon though. I mean, Lord is coming up.
Yeah, the second wave will probably do it, right? We'll see whether or not Homeboys can.
Another wild charge. The guys this time gets away. So they didn't expend Tempest of Blaze. I mean, realizing that the Lord is coming up.
Yeah, they gotta save resources, and Amal unfortunately didn't have purple buff as well, so it was difficult to keep the chase up. Cram can engage.
It's gonna be a wild glorious pathway, drop down, just soaking up the damage, but even the revitalize is not enough, and Sluggeyes retries to fight Udio again. Eliminated, Infernal Pursuit, an endless chase from Cram. Forces the rest of Homeboys away. SRG now have access to the pit.
Yep, Innocent finally is online. Holy Crystal was purchased at the 10-minute mark, so now he actually has relevant damage in these fights, and I think that Homeboys not prepared for it. Even a single Athena's shield would do a little bit of work, but you'll lose at least 50% of your health, and with so much CC from Selangor Red Giants, what are they gonna do?
Two inhibitors taken down by SRG. Neymar clears out the wave alongside Soul. The rest of Homeboys now back as the guy solos the Lord. SRG setting up for the end game scenario already.
I always love the way that Selangor Red Giants manages their human resources, the way they split up the map. The moment two players go down, they go for the push into the base to keep pressure on Homeboys, keep them inside their safe zone while sending Skies to get the Lord so that they're not giving up any objective pressure across the map at all. It is so difficult to deal with.
It's very good coverage at this point in time, and I think that the Homeboys don't exactly have much of an answer to it. Unless we see Udil have like max items, maybe even steals of brilliance and one-shots the jungler, I don't see them coming back from this. And Amal, he's doing it all he can to try and drag this game out.
It's not going to be quite enough though. He's down. So Homeboys 4v5. This is where the responsibility goes on to Soul. Deathless the entire game. Having more than enough damage to clear out the Lord for sure. but SRG will get the last remaining inhibitor. Flicker forward, Yums, good purify, So with the dodge, and with the help of Voodoo, that's immortality for Yums now, but So needs to do way more than that, and Innocent with the brilliance, that's absolutely melts down So SRG looking for the first blood in the series. Udio next on the chopping block, and Wap left to his own devices. The Grand Guardian falls, and Salang or Red Giants gets game 1.
The world champ.